Young people today have Google.
Yes.
When I was growing up, if you didn't know an artist, it was good. It was legitimate. I never heard of you. Today,
Yes.
Google. Everybody can know anybody. So I don't even know how to introduce myself, really. My name is KRS ONE. It's an acronym for Knowledge Reigns Supreme over nearly everyone. But this is all online already. Who doesn't know? Whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the police. If you don't know all of that, then this interview is not even, you know. First of all, hip-hop is not just a culture, it's a new civilization.
Okay.
Hip-hop is one of the oldest cultures on earth. It is the first thing that human beings do when they come into existence.
Yes.
Breaking, MCing, graffiti art, DJing. Breaking is dance. The earliest form of human communication anywhere is dance. How you move. Move according to nature, move according to the fish, the lions, the gazelles, the trees. This is what hominin humans did.
Yes.
This is early human, Neanderthals, Rhodesia man, Australopithecus, early hominin human. The reason most sociologists don't regard hip-hop as a culture is because they don't respect you.
Okay.
That's the issue, or me. They don't respect us as people. Any culture, you could say the fans that went to see the Miami Heat play basketball, that's a culture. Politics in Washington, D.C., I guess where I'm from, that's a culture. Now those will be called subcultures, meaning you have blacks, whites, Asians, indigenous cultures all coming together to say be online. Everybody's online, so there's an online culture. There's an online subculture. Anytime groups of humans come together for one thing, they form culture. Now that's the textbook. I don't know the sociologists that can't see that. They're ignorant, not us, they are. That's a subculture. Hip hop is a civilization. Now let me go back. Breaking. First things that human beings do is dance. Next thing human beings do is utter. This is MCing, not language. This is before language. This is before organized language, before all that. That is called MCing. Sociologists only know rap, which is the commercial version of MCing. Their knowledge is small, not ours. We are MCs. E-M-C-E-E-I-N, MCing, spelled just like that, E-M-C-E-E-I-N, MCing. And the reason we spell it like that, and DJing, and writing like that, is because we call these expressions of ours elements. These are the elements, breaking, MCing, graffiti, or DJing, these are elements. So whenever you write elements, at least the Chemical Society of the world writes their elements as penicillin, mucin. It goes on and on with the way you spell chemical elements. Now most people look at breaking, MCing, and graffiti art and DJing and says, oh, just some black kids dancing. That's their prejudice. If we just look at the facts, we call our expression elements. We spell them as elements, not slang language, MCing, E-M-C-E-E-I-N-G. So because we say MCing, we drop the G. We purposely leave the G off because the G doesn't exist. We're talking about elements. The elements are what we're talking about. Now let's come back. Breaking, first things human do, dance. Second things human do, utter. Beatboxing. Music with your body. That's ancient, ancient, ancient. before, go to the great Buddha in Asia. The sign language, the hand movements of the Buddha, each have significance into the mind of the person watching. If the Buddha does this, it means one thing. If the Buddha does that, it means something else. So when you see women dancing like this, and they do it like the women in India, in Asia, and they dancing like this, they're speaking. Sign language was the first language. Before human beings could speak, we spoke in sign language. We hit body, the head, we spoke like this, utter, and used our hands. That's MCing and beatboxing. Beatboxing is a form of MCing. Graffiti art. Today it's called graffiti art. But anywhere you go in the world, graffiti art is the world's oldest art. Again, hominin humans. In Toulouse, France, they found stenciled human hands, which they call graffiti, by the way. 32,000 years old. This is early. This is before modern man. This is before Homo sapiens. Hip hop is before all of that. This is hominin humans doing graffiti. What is graffiti? My self-expression in art on a wall. The earliest form of graffiti, berry juice in the mouth, blow it onto the cave wall so you see my hand, and check it out. They blew it. They didn't draw, they didn't pick up a pen and write this stuff. No, they put juice in their mouth and spit it onto the wall over their hands so they make an impression with their hands. This is known science. This is science all over the world. The earliest writing, the earliest human writing ever is graffiti. It's called graffiti by anthropologists, archaeologists, sociologists. Go from there to what is called rock art. Rock art is the oldest form of art. We call it black books and we write no stuff, but ancient humans wrote on rocks, trees. No human on earth writes like this naturally. This is social indoctrination to write like this. If you give a baby a pen or any writing material, a child, any writing material, they'll go right to the wall.
Yes.
No human, if you give them a pencil, a young kid, you give them a pencil, they're gonna go like this. Show me a table. They're gonna take the pen and out of their own natural self, they're gonna go right to a wall and start writing the wall. And the first thing they're gonna write is their name. This is known all over the world. It doesn't matter what sociologists think. We have higher knowledge. They need to learn before opening their mouth. Now the last thing, DJing. Cutting, mixing, scratching. Woo! First of all, I just get excited talking about hip hop. DJing is not turntables and the technology. That's not DJing. Serato is not DJing. Technique not beatboxing, not DJing. Cutting, mixing, scratching, that's DJing. What the human does to technology is DJing. Technology can never tell the human how to DJ. Never. That's something else. If you talk about hip hop DJing, DEEJAYIN.
Yes.
DJing, cutting, mixing, scratching. Invented by Grandmaster Flash and progressed by Grand Wizard Theodore. Cutting, mixing, scratching. Now, look at these elements of early human, early hominin. Dance, utterance, self-expression through art, cutting, mixing, scratching, which by the way, to an early hominin, when you cut or mix something, like for instance, scratching will give you fire. Cutting is like when you get an animal, or you hunting animals, or you are looking through trees, you cutting herbs and things like that. Early humans, the cutters, were called stonemasons. Starts with stone. Cut, cut, cut. That activity is what we are doing today. It's what we do. When we hear that shiki, 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 when early humans did that, shiki, 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 whoa, fire came up. Or they ripped off a hide. Somebody's skin got pulled off because they're cutting it with a thing. Mixing, the blending of things that don't supposed to blend. This is early human psychology, early. To take this and make it match with this. How do you do that? It's called high intelligence. Now, the education that we receive today is all about the destruction of the ancient hominin. This is why we can't find, this is why hip-hop's true history has not been written down yet or even properly researched. Because hip-hop's history is not the history of rap music. That's why they think it's not a culture, because they say, oh, rap is a music genre. It's not a culture. Rap is not a culture. Rap is a subculture like reggae, jazz, gospel. That's rap. But what rap comes from, what causes you to rap, is called hip-hop. And that is a behavior. That's not music. That's an ancient way to be. That this society, this colonial society that invades nations and occupies other people's territories, they can never let you know this truth about yourself. Never. And this goes worldwide. This is worldwide. It's not just black, Native American. All people on the planet are hip-hop. All humans are hip-hop. All of them, every last one. Some know it, and some don't know it. That's the only difference. But, so let me come back to culture. Now, let's talk legally. Okay, we talked about anthropology, archaeology. Okay, that can't be, I don't know who thinks hip hop is not a culture and we're the first culture on earth. We're human culture. What everybody's trying to get away from. Put that to the side. Come down to legal. What's a culture? A culture is any time a group of people declare themselves a culture. Now, let's say all the anthropology, man, throw it out the window. Throw the science out the window. If I'm in power, I say I'm a culture, and you gotta agree with it. How can you tell me I'm not who I say I am? If I tell you I'm Japanese, how you gonna tell me I'm not? I'm telling you I'm Japanese. You say, no, but wait, Chris, you're black. You got hair, your nose, your lips, and the skin, you're black, Chris. I say, no, I'm Japanese. Now, either you respect me enough to say, then let me treat you like a Japanese person. Because you say you're Japanese. How can someone outside of you tell you who you are? That's so racist, classist, ignorant, and this is what hip hop is being confronted with. I'm telling you I'm hip hop. All you're supposed to do is go, That's it. What opinion do you have if I say I am hip hop? You gonna tell me I'm not? That's like a Greek man, a woman said, I'm Greek. They say, no, you're not. Wait a minute. I'm Greek. No, you're not. Someone says, I'm an electrician. I'm an engineer. I'm a doctor. I'm a chef. Someone says, no, you're not. What right do they have to tell you you're not? The only way somebody could say you're not what you are is if you're not being it. Like if I say, I'm Japanese, but everything I do is African, then you got all the right to say, you ain't Japanese, get the hell out of here. But if I'm coming to you with dome arigato, and I'm speaking the language, I'm wearing the clothes, I'm eating the food, I know the history, my wife, my kids, or my husband, whatever, we living out Japanese life. We living it out right now. No one on earth could tell me I'm not Japanese. Especially if I go now join the Japanese army, fight in Japanese wars. Other Japanese people will accept me and say, no, he's not black, he's our brother, he's Japanese with us. No outside person could ever tell you who you are, ever. Now, that's just legal. I am hip hop. Now, you have to prove that I'm not. Not me. I know who I am. I'm hip hop. You have to say, oh, you don't agree, you don't. Who cares if you agree or not? I know who I am. Now let's go further into legal. May 16th, 2001, we took hip hop to the United Nations and we declared hip hop an international culture with UNESCO. The sociologists need to do more work, do more research, get some more. This is historical fact. We was at Kofi Annan's office was the overseeing office of our event. Our event is well documented. You can look it up, everybody knows it. We went to the UN accepted us. Forget these sociologists that don't know nothing. What is called UNESCO, United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, said hip hop is a world culture. They said it. We went to the United Nations to accept the world culture status. I was there, of course. I was a keynote speaker. We spoke of hip hop being the culture. We signed something called a Hip Hop Declaration of Peace, which the United Nations has as well. 300 delegates were there at our ceremony. It wasn't just me and a couple of my boys. Everybody showed up and documented it. Now, if these sociologists today don't have enough education, that's their problem. But hip hop is a global culture. You know what? There's two answers in there.
Yeah.
The quick answer, what built this movement, what made this all come together, is a guy named Africa Bambaataa.
Mm-hmm.
He is the sole author of hip hop's cultural existence. I'm called an architect of hip hop culture because I popularize it. But Africa Bambaataa is the first one to tell all of us, let's come together under this banner called hip hop. And we're gonna call ourselves Zulu Nation. But really, it's hip hop, it's this new thing that we're gonna cause in the world. It was deliberate. Hip hop was never a mistake. We stumbled on some things we tripped on and found out. But your question was deliberate. Africa Bambaataa in 1981 put out a record with, put out a record called Planet Rock. I think it was 82. Put out a record called Planet Rock. He also did a record with James Brown, the legendary James Brown. And that record was peace, unity, love, and having fun. Those principles, peace, unity, love, and having fun, became the principles for this new culture called hip hop. Africa Bambaataa would meet with us regularly. This was no haphazard thing, we just rapping on the corner. That's MTV's history. Real hip hop history is Africa Bambaataa sitting everybody down and saying, listen, all this black, white, red, yellow is stupid. We're all human beings. Let's come together on that. Africa Bambaataa would teach Buddhism, Islam, and Christianity all at the same time. Imagine that. All at the same time. He get a little bit from Islam, a little bit from Christian, a little bit from Buddhism, and a little Rasta, a little metaphysics, a little yoga. Bam, Africa, he was teaching us all of this. So people like me, I went to, well, it was one of the many meetings, but one of the meetings I went to was in 1987 in a place called Latin Quarters. It was a nightclub. Africa Bambaataa called another meeting, and he said, hip-hoppers need to unionize. He said rappers, really, because rap was getting big in 87, like way before all of it now, but we were still small in 87. But Africa Bambaataa said we should form unions and try to preserve the original concept of hip-hop, which was all about peace, love, unity, and having fun. I took that and started the Stop the Violence movement off that. From the Stop the Violence movement, you notice there's a song we did called Self-Destruction. When Self-Destruction was created, that was hip-hop's first unified front. That was when we all unified and said, this is what hip-hop is.
Yes.
The mainstream didn't like it. They said we were controversial. Imagine, I'm saying stop the violence, and mainstream radio and television is saying that's too controversial. Too controversial to stop violence? Yeah, because if you're black and you're from the ghetto, you're not supposed to think like that. You're not supposed to have those thoughts. You're supposed to stay in your place and just stay in your place. We know everything. We control everything. Get that out of here. That's our parents. Rest their souls. But our parents were on their hands and knees begging to be part of America. We were never part of that, ever. And this is not just, again, blacks and Latinos get it the worst. Okay, we get it the worst in America. But the white people in America too started looking. And just a sense of justice was just like, wait a minute, why is it like this if it should be like this? And this is when hip hop exploded with Public Enemy, who was representing Minister Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam. And their whole audience was white kids going, don't say you understand until you hear the man. 911 is a joke. This is all white kids. I mean, Public Enemy has a huge black following as well. But when you go to their concerts, dude, it was all revolutionary white kids. Russians, Croatians, Czech, England, France, Germany, Switzerland. Oh my God, this place here, from the day Public Enemy came out, the Swiss people have been down with that more than with this commercial nonsense that they was getting. It's the Swiss hip hop actually, that was the first to invite Africa Bambaataa out of America to hear. He was a Swiss.
Really?
Yes! You gotta interview Bam.
Okay,
let's go back.
Social.
So, in the States, in the United States in the 60s, we had, and 50s and 60s, early 70s, we had a thing called the Civil Rights Movement. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Stokely Carmichael, now Kwame Ture, and others. Black Panther Party, Weathermen, et cetera, et cetera. This movement for freedom always existed within the United States. In the United States, we have a huge abolitionist movement, people who are against slavery. And most of them are white people, to be honest with you, in the United States. Most of the people who are against slavery in the United States are white people. You would think that black people would be the ones at the forefront of the abolitionist movement, and we are. I mean, I could quote Frederick Douglass, I can go to Nat Turner, I could talk about Harriet Tubman and others. But when you look at the historical change, we can fight. We fight, we riot, we protest. But when it comes to the courts, the laws, the mood of society, religion, white people, white Americans have been at the forefront, have been the leaders of black freedom. Now, black people don't want to say that. I don't know why, but it's the truth. The truth is, Barack Obama was not elected by black people. Even if all the black people in America voted for Barack Obama, he still wouldn't win, because we're that small of a group in the United States. Latinos, whites, they said, we want him, black man, in office. Now, of course, we black people in America, we appreciate it. We're like, yes, Finally, we have a black president, blah, 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 and I can go into that too on another level. But just the sheer excitement of it, okay? Just keep it light, keep it on the surface. To understand the movement for real, the real freedom movement, it has no color on it. And if it did have a color on it, it would be revolutionary white people that would be at the front of it. Now, of course, there's people like me in the United States. Black men that are fighting for freedom every day. Every day. We never let up, ever. It is in my blood. I will always stand for the cause of black liberation, no doubt. But I stand for truth also. I stand for humanity first. The deepest part to being black is being African. Deepest part to being African is being human. Deepest part to being human, being God. Deepest part of being God is being love, being intelligence, and all of the above, understanding, mercy, all that. It's godlike. What would you rather be, black or God? Who are you really, African American or human? I tend to lean toward human myself. And so hip hop as a movement is colored with this as well. Not all of hip hop agrees with KRS One, and they shouldn't. Hip hop should be challenging everything that anybody is saying out their mouth. Truth will hold up, and that's all I speak is truth. So I invite all questions. But let's get it clear that all of hip hop doesn't agree with this. But like I just explained to the lady here, I'm one of the leaders of the culture. I'm not, and I don't say that like I'm above anybody. That's a job. That's a burden. That's a responsibility. That's not something you say and then all of a sudden somebody puts flowers on you. No, that's a hard position to be. To say, wait a minute, I'm trying to birth and lead my culture. So go back now to the 70s. Malcolm X is assassinated. Dr. King is assassinated. John F. Kennedy's assassinated. Medgar Evers assassinated. And Black Panther Party members assassinated. And then all the other little ones that didn't get the name recognition assassinated. I grew up in that. Hip hop grew up in that. There's two types of people in the world. Black men and black boys. Black boys is who you see on mainstream television. I want the girl, the big house, I'm driving the car. That's little boy stuff. And any man will let you know, any man knows that. Any adult knows that. Now I'm not saying that when you're on TV you can't aspire for the good things in life, no doubt. But a man, a real man, he gets on the TV and first, he looks for his kids. Let me make sure my kids ate today. Are they clean today? Did they learn something today? Are they protected today? Before I can even talk to you, is my kids good? It's a man. Is my woman good? Is she empowered? Does she feel like she can breathe? Is she expressing herself? Does she feel loved? What's my woman doing? Most of the rappers you see on TV, they have no woman in their life. They have little girls who are only interested in little boys. So they play little girl, little boy games. I want the guy with the car. That's a little girl, a little boy. I can't argue with that. Leave all that over there, okay? There's a little girl, little boy arena that rappers play into. But the majority of us are men and women, the majority of us. So the movement starts with black men. Hip hop begins with black men in particular. In particular, not black boys, not white boys, not Asian boys. Men, black men talking to white men, who are talking to Asian men, who are talking to Latino men. We all come together and we say, like my man, oh man, I could run down, like in graffiti, you got Takey 183, one of the most famous graffiti writers in hip hop. He Greek. You got Quick and Scene, who I think is Italian. Scene, rest in peace, he passed. But Scene is he's a legend in graffiti writing. It's a white kid. Cap, Big Cap, who used to run around crossing everybody out. White kid. They not hip hop? Of course they hip hop. But also, they recognize that this ain't about color. This ain't about race. Even white kids that live in the neighborhoods in the Bronx, they know they're just as oppressed as we are. And they feel it every day. These are men, okay? Men, white men, who are getting hit over the head by the cop, called nigger lover. Or you just want to be a nigger lover, by other white men. You walking down the street with your black girlfriend, and you got blacks and whites dissing you because whatever. No, that's a man standing for his principles. I don't give a fuck what y'all think about me and my wife. I'm a man. Step over here, I'll give you two in your head. That's what I'm talking about. Now, that's where hip hop comes from. You go to any prison in the United States right now, go to any prison in the United States. If they know, if the prisoners that are there, if the inmates that are there, if they know that you stood for revolution, you have no problems in prison. If they saw you on the TV, and they in prison, and they saw you on the TV go, gangster, gangster, I got the guns out, we on the corner selling crack. The minute you get in prison, you're finished. You're done. You're done. Oh, you a gangster? Come on in here now. Come on in here with some real gangsters. And let's show you what gangster is. Because the people, most of the inmates in prison started out as boys, went to prison and became men. Then they're in prison, they realize, damn, I shouldn't have killed that person. I shouldn't have robbed that person. But now you in prison. So now you realize yourself, but you in prison. So now you get aggravated with other people who are talking about robbing and shooting and killing and selling drugs. You're like, yo, all you're gonna do is wind up right here. So if you dumb enough to be out there talking like that, the minute you come in here, dude, we waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. But now you let somebody like Chuck D or Immortal Technique or Dead Prez or let any of them go to jail for any reason. They'll have dudes washing their underwear out for them and be like, yo, dog, yo, what you stand for, we protecting you on that right now. You let Cypress Hill be real. Let him go to prison and see the Mexicans come around him like a general. Ain't nobody touching Be Real around here. They say it in their language. But this is manhood. Manhood!
Yes.
Right after manhood, here comes womanhood. And it's not right after, it's really first, and I'm gonna show you why. Hip hop politically begins with men. It begins with black men. It really does. It begins with the attitude of black men. The Latino man was with that too, and then the white man was with that too. But Kool Herc, the father of our culture, the reason he went outside to play his music at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue, actually inside in the community center, the reason he went was because of his sister Cindy Campbell. Cindy, his older sister, was the one who said, yo, Herc, go, as she said, he was a graffiti writer, right? Cool Ass Clyde. And it was his bigger sister that said, could you DJ for my birthday party? And he left the walls and became a DJ and started playing, James Brown and Apache and all these classic records now. But let me go from him to her. Women, not little girls, women, real women. is the purpose of hip hop, is the glue of hip hop. It's the glue of it. Men are the outward appearance of hip hop, black men. Behind them is all kinds of women. Start with Cindy with Kool Herc, and Pebbly Pooh, first female MC, who was with Kool Herc. Take it all the way over to Sha Rock, who was with Funky 4 Plus One More. Take it over to Roxanne Shante, who had many battles and won, by the way. Take it over to Salt and Pepper. Take it, who was battling Dougie Fresh when they first came out. Take it over to Queen Latifah, MC Light. These are hip hop women, okay? Take it over to them. Now, women are also the executives. Sylvia Robinson, legendary woman, her soul rest in peace. She was the founder and president, CEO of Sugar Hill Records. The first rap records to come out in a major way, putting aside the Fatback Band's King Tim III, which is true scholarship. But coming over to Sugar Hill Records, that was ran by a black woman. Grandmaster Flash, Treacherous 3, Furious 5, Sequence, all of a black woman. See the vision and put it out. I say all of this to say, what causes the movement of hip hop? First, Africa Bambaataa caused it. But go further back, Malcolm X caused it. Go further forward, Kool Herc caused it. No, he didn't. Cindy caused it. Go even further, my mother caused it. And every single mother that raised a single boy to a man. This is also hip hop. Ask most hip hoppers, the early hip hoppers from 81 to 91, the golden age of hip hop, 90% of us raised by women. 90% raised by single women. Dad was not around. Hip hop is feminine in a lot of ways. Hip hop exalts the woman in a lot of ways. Mainstream says, oh, hip hop is misogynist toward women. Hip hop degrades women. Stupid. What an idiotic argument. Those people who say that are not even part of hip hop. Because if you was part of hip hop, you know that it was Queen Latifah who put out, I need a gangsta bitch. A gangsta bitch, I need a gangsta bitch. Her artist was called Apache. He actually put the record out. But Latifah was the woman, the executive behind the record. Then Latifah puts out, who you calling a bitch? UNITY, your biggest record in hip hop. This is one woman. Anybody who looks at hip hop would look at Mary J. Blige and Method Man. Method Man, the record, you're all I need to get by. Shorty, I'm there for you anytime you need. For real, it's me in your world. Nothing makes the man feel better. I can't get his lyrics together. But when you listen to the lyrics of Method Man and how he adores Mary J. Blige, he's just like, oh, you're my world, you're my everything, you're everything. How is that misogynist? At the end of the record, he says to Mary, you my nigga. Does Mary go, why are you calling me a nigga? No, Mary know exactly what he's talking about. She's like, word, they did the video together. She even went and did another record with Ghostface, which was even bigger than that one. This is real hip hop. Real hip hop. Now, on the level of corporate, hip hop is facing a new challenge today. The challenge is that the university system all over the world, colleges all over the world, are claiming that they can teach hip hop without any credentials whatsoever to do so. Major universities are telling professors, hold on, I go on after her? Yes. Okay. They're telling professors, You could teach hip hop because you have a sociology degree. You could teach hip hop because you have a journalist degree. You have a degree in musicology. You have a degree in psychology. This is so ridiculous. This is like, because I have a degree in engineering, I could teach law. Because I have a degree in medicine, I could teach culinary arts. I could teach you how to cook because I'm a doctor. That's how ridiculous this is. So you got these professors all over the world claiming themselves to be hip-hop professors or hip-hop scholars. Never did a show, never made a record, never even supported the making of one. Okay, you don't rap, but you produced an album. Okay, you paid for one. You made a beat. Nothing. Zero. They listen to rap music and then go, okay, now I can teach hip hop in a college. This is horrible for hip hop. I urge all hip hoppers to rise up on this. Anybody teaching you hip hop, if they don't have a degree from me, they're not hip hop. And I'm not saying that egotistically. I'm the first master teacher of hip hop. The first time hip hop ever had a teacher, it was KRS One. When nobody was even thinking about teaching hip hop, I was teaching hip hop and teaching through hip hop. Not just rap, graffiti art, breaking, MC, all of the fashion, everything we were teaching. Now, they don't want me in the university because I'm going to expose the lies. So they get the people that they can control to say these are hip hop scholars. Then what they're teaching about hip hop, Tupac's lyrics, Biggie's life, Criminal Minded is an album. We're going to listen to the Criminal Minded album and listen to what did KRS mean when this is not teaching hip hop. What's teaching hip hop is hip means to know. Hop is a form of movement. This is teaching hip hop. What is hip? What is hop? And how do we use that? How do we handle that? How do we live this? But we're going through something in hip hop right now that all true hip hoppers should be questioning these professors. You see the way people are protesting in the streets all over? I think their energy is misplaced. Your government can't even help you with what the protests. Like Brazil, big up to the people in Brazil that are doing their thing. But they're arguing with the wrong people. The government has no power. They can't even, the government's wondering what the hell to do right now, okay? Oh, they throw another tear gas. That's all the government can do. The people have to unite. That's what these protests should be showing us. Okay, we blew off some steam, we fought the cops, but who's gonna start organizing thought? And where you organize thought is not on the street, it's at the universities. Take those protests and go into the universities and say education should be free across the board. You should never have to pay for education again. That's the beginning of every revolution. We would get more money, everybody would have jobs, you could raise your family better, there's more psychological peace if education was free. Not medical, not a bus fare, education. Why does a college student go to college and have to be put in debt for the rest of their lives fighting off this college debt just to get an education? That's against the law. That's an injustice. So I say, hip hoppers everywhere should take the fight to the university. That's where we need to be fighting. Go there and demand that education be free. Let's storm the universities. Don't storm the government. The government's weak right now. Everybody know that. Corporations run the government now. You're not going to get answers from the government. They are the managers of Burger King. They are not in power. They're not the franchise owner of the state. The government doesn't control the state anymore. Corporations do. So You don't want to fight the corporations because you're an instant hypocrite. You buy from the corporation you go fight from. You gonna eat the food. You gonna fight the same corporation. You eat the same food. That war can't be won, at least not on that front. Here's what we can win. Take that protest into the universities, global. All universities should teach hip hop. They should teach hip hop from a certified hip hop cultural specialist. This alone would create 1 million new jobs around the world. If universities would just comply with hip hop's cultural principles, 2 million jobs open up for everybody around the world. Open up for everybody. Everybody wins on this one. But universities are colonizing hip hop. They're taking hip hop just like diamonds, like oil, like peanuts, like seed, like anything. They're trying to commodify it and take it from us. And hip hop should not stand for that. Take your protest to the university and demand more knowledge, not more money. Demand more knowledge, not more freedom even. Because we were slaves and got free through knowledge. Now today they say we free and we're more slaves because of lack of knowledge. It's knowledge that reigns supreme.
Yes.
What a coincidence.